Hi, everyone. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. There's a notifications bell down in the corner that'll let you know when I'm about to go live and give you notifications. Um, in the descriptions, there are ways to support me in my mission and a wish list for myself and the people I help. So, I want to talk today about going out with the Hope Crew. Now, if you watch my vlogs earlier, I talked about meeting this woman called Amanda. And they were handing out donuts and supplies and, um, hi, Megan. And also clean needles and other things. And I didn't get a chance to really talk to them very much. I'd only talked to her for a few, got her information, went online and looked at what they do. And I absolutely loved their motto, which was love them as they are. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And I am going to say that a lot of times when we talk about safe use sites or supervised injection, whatever, we talk from a point of data that we've gathered from other places, um, usually opinion on that data. Like, I don't believe it. I do believe it. But there is evidence-based data that it helps. Um, and misunderstanding that it's meant to address a public health crisis. And so I want to talk about what I did today and the experience that I gained. And first, I went out, and I will say I stopped at a food truck and got a way too sweet cookie dough and ice cream, and I still feel guilty for it. I couldn't eat it. I ate the ice cream off it though, and the chocolate chips, and like a few bites of the cookie dough. And then I went to find them, and by the time I got there, she already had the clipboard. People were lined up. They were handing out lunches. Aloha, Erin. And they were getting things ready. And it was all kinds of people, substance users, and people that had jobs, and people that were homeless, and people that weren't homeless. But one thing that I will say wholeheartedly, is it works to keep needles off the streets. I sat there and watched as people deposited their used needles into the sharps containers, ask for sharps containers, bring back. Had one lady ask for an extra one to collect from around where her encampment was. These programs work. I watched it work today. Not just read about it or heard about it or whatever. I watched it work today. And I watched and listened as person after person came up, and they were warned that there has been fentanyl in the meth, and to please take the fentanyl test strips, which many did. And the problem is we ran out. We ran out so quickly. And then, asking people if they wanted Narcan, and the stories of, yeah, my friend needed that the other day, or I was in a park, or it saved my life. You know, if these people weren't out there doing what they were doing, the crisis would be on a whole nother level. Dead bodies upon dead bodies piling up, diseases. I listened to one conversation where somebody was shaking their head and said, somebody offered to buy my used needles off of me. And I told them, oh, no, you don't want that. And that's where we don't want, because those some diseases are extremely communicable, and they're communicable whether you use drugs or not, whether you're a substance abuser or not. Are you sure this doesn't enable the users? No, actually, that is, thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that comment because honestly, I wasn't sure either. Here's the thing. When I talked with the head of harm reduction research, this was the issue that she had. And I agree with her wholeheartedly. A, substance abuse exists. It will continue to exist throughout humanity. And that itself, we will get treatment for people who seek treatment. But we have to understand that drug use exists. And we can say it's right and we can say it's wrong, or we can say whatever we want about it. But the fact is, it's there. So, what we want to do is we have to concern ourselves with what kind of crisis is this posing in societal sphere, in the public health sphere. In other words, behavioral issues. I couldn't take Rowan along today because she is trained, being when I was homeless, that sometimes the behavioral issues that come along with addiction could put me in danger. And so she is reactive to that. So I could not bring her along today. Um, so there are, but hepatitis is huge. HIV, um, we got MRSA, cellulitis, zoonotic diseases. There's typhus in Los Angeles. So the thing is these supplies, you know, they're not handing drugs to somebody. It's not enabling somebody towards their drug use. It would be the same as saying, say, okay, for example, say there was a horrible flu going around, and it was just killing people, like dead. And we knew that it was passed by saliva, such as glasses. And so we handed out glasses to people, clean glasses to drink from, knowing that they needed a clean use glass each time. Are we enabling alcoholics then? Absolutely not. We're not pouring alcohol, nor are we loading syringes with drugs. We are saying, please, for the love of God, do not share needles. For the love of God, please do not leave used needles on the sidewalks. For the love of God, please, please use Narcan so you and the people you don't know start dying because people have put things in there that you didn't know about. And you would think that, a lot of people are like, oh, it's common sense, just don't use drugs. Okay, stop. Just stop. People use drugs. Get over it. The war on drugs was proven inane a long, long time ago. That's not where we need to reach out now. Where we need to understand now is that we have a problem that is persisting in our society where people are grabbing more and more things to cope with something. And part of the issue is we are in the grips of what is an opioid crisis. And when that happened, when people were given, instead of pain meds that have been used, another, it's a different formula. OxyContin was a different formula, and it was marketed, and I can go into it with the Sackler family and things like that. But it changes the way your brain works. People they don't just, it doesn't work that way. It affects the brain. It affects the brain's need for something. It affects their nerves, their systems, everything. It's, and then when they took that away, you get a lot of people who, or the medication wasn't working well enough for them anymore, and they had to go, or they chose to go, or whatever you want to call it, to heroin or whatever. But the thing is it doesn't matter. And that's what I loved about the Hope Crew. It's love them as they are. Do they want treatment? You know what? I would be more than happy to look up on wherever and send them somewhere for treatment. It would be great if we had people there that could get them into treatment, like on the spot if they wanted it. But that's not the case, and we're not there yet. But what we can do is we can prevent death. We can prevent the spread of communicable illnesses. Because what do you think happens if somebody shares a needle, hep gets spread, and people are drinking out of public water fountains. This just became a real big public health issue. It's not just about the person, everything is interconnected. And when we talk about that, and when I saw it in action, because this is the thing, people are like, oh, there's still going to be dirty needles on the street. No, there's not. No, there's not. Not even at the levels. If you could have seen what I saw today, and not only that, but seen it with a heart of love and compassion. These are human beings who have been through it, are going through it, and trying the best they can to get through their days. And I don't have to agree with their lifestyle to give them basic needs and believe that they are worth saving. So that's why I wanted to go out. I wanted to educate myself about this. I wanted to hear that Narcan is saving lives. I wanted to hear that people are saving their friends and themselves by using testing strips. I wanted to hear that needles were getting thrown away in a sharps container rather than left in a park for my dog or a child to find. All of those things I saw today from this program. And I hear around the city, what are we going to do? How can nothing's being done? Nothing's being done. No, there are things being done, but you got to support it. You got to go out there. You got to give your time. You have to give your effort. You have to give supplies because this is necessary. We are coming upon crises like we have never before seen. And it's not just addiction. This touches everyone. Lynn, it's a healthcare crisis. It is. It is absolutely. It and that right there, the cost to visit a doctor carries so high, it's cheaper to self-medicate. I will be honest, we see this in a lot of seniors. Their medications are more than they can handle. And when tragedy strikes and someone can't afford what they need, whether that be healthcare, and most of the times it's healthcare. It comes down to healthcare. And as I watch doctors and pharmacists and pharma getting arrested and charged, I look at this and I just think to myself, people, these are trusted people. People go to them to be cured and to get help for the most important thing in their life, their health. And they hooked them on drugs. And we look at these people with disgust and with disdain and with anger and all of these negative stereotypical things. And a lot of times the story comes down to, I went to my doctor to get help. Play devil's advocate. Since they were warning that some of the heroin was laced with fentanyl, why not also offer clean drugs? Because that would save lives too, probably. Okay. All right. Good point on that. However, none of us are licensed doctors. And the only people that can prescribe any type of, it's called, I think, like pharmacy therapy, where people, they come off of the drugs that they're addicted to by means of medical assistance and other drugs that are replaced. That is in rehab programs and that is in medical facilities. We don't, that's the thing is to hand somebody a life-saving supply, you know, like something to test your water with. Well, what if you're mixing that water with whatever? I don't know. The thing is it's not about giving somebody the substance. It's about making sure that their lifestyle isn't going to cause a public health crisis, because it's an understanding of we're all in this together. And yeah, methadone clinic, exactly, that's exactly it, Megan. That's Lynn pegged it on the head. The methadone clinic, or whatever, it's a place where people can go to get physician assistance and pharmacy assistance in replacing street drugs with pharmaceutical drugs. I don't know a whole lot about those programs. I just know that that needs to be under medical supervision for sure. Um, and that it's much, much different to hand somebody. It's the same thing with the people, like, okay, when I was panhandling, for instance, um, people would say stuff like, well, if we hand her money, what if she goes and buys drugs or alcohol with it? Are we enabling that behavior? No, I can choose to go buy whatever I want with it. You are giving me autonomy. You're giving me that a choice to do what I want. You give up control. And at that point, you say, you're a human being that needs, here you are. But you're not handing me alcohol or drugs. And I have been tried to be handed alcohol several times and been like, I'm good. I don't drink. And had people be shocked. Like, sorry, you got the wrong one. um, Hello, Amanda. People should not treat themselves, even though you know what it is, when bad reaction can be fatal. They should not treat themselves. I don't know what you mean by that, Karen. Um, if you're talking about Narcan, most of the time, their friend, if they have Narcan on them, it'll be their friend treating them, not themselves. And they are supposed to call 911, but they don't always. Um, it truly saves lives. I I had I would recommend everybody get out there and do that. Get out there and do it. Get out there and learn about it, because there is nothing like hands-on. And the love and the unconditional love, and it was wonderful. They test the young girls every time to see if they're pregnant, and then they can get the treatment. Okay, I don't know, Karen, what you're talking about. I'm talking about heroin and meth use. And that's usually, that's what these kits are for. We do not. Hope Crew does not, and that is, no one is handing out any substances. The only substances that are being handed out are donuts, water, sandwiches, fruit snacks with vitamin C, because there is issues with scurvy out there, clean needles, a sharps container so people can bring back dirty needles, so they are not ending up in the trash cans and on the street. They can be placed into a biohazard container. If they need testing strips, that is one thing I've put on the Amazon wish list that is, oh my gosh, needed so desperately. Narcan, so that they can save the lives of themselves and others. That is it. That is what is being handed out in paper bags, so they don't get harassed by others. Um, it's a fine line when it comes to helping versus enabling. It's so hard to know. Well, I don't find, really, I can define it in myself pretty often. Um, well, yes, I'm sure if anybody, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure physicians need to know if they're pregnant. Um, it depends on what you're trying to do. Now, when it comes to enabling drug use and enabling, the thing is, people have autonomy. You can let someone lead their own life and say, if you need a food, I got you. If I need, this is what I have to offer you. I have A, B, or C. If you have none of those things, maybe you have knowledge. But enabling is where someone is going, they're they're helping the person get what they need or want. And when I say need, I'm really talking about want. Like, if my friend is an alcoholic and I invite them over and I say, hey, I'm having a party with a bunch of beer and alcohol and everything else. And they're like, hey, I'm trying to stop, and say, oh, don't worry about it. I'll have a soda for you there. Knowing you're placing them in addiction, that might be enabling a little bit. Or handing it to them or saying, oh, it's not a big deal. That's what I look at enabling. I'm looking at like peer pressure. Um, you don't like, I'm not out. If I give somebody money, I just don't understand the concept. Okay. If I'm out there and I'm not going to give what I don't have to give. So if I've got 275 and I can say in my head, okay, well, I only need $2 and I see somebody that strikes my heart, like a woman with a child, here's 75 cents. I don't even, it doesn't cross my mind what they're going to do with it. It doesn't affect me at all what they're going to do with it. It doesn't, they touched my heart. I had this to give, I gave it. I don't think about the waters once they're distributed. I don't think about the lunches once they're distributed. None of these things, when I give, do I think about where, other than with the exception of the plastic packaging. That bothers me so badly. I'm not gonna lie, like that right there. I feel that our inane use of plastic packaging enables uh, pollution. So that's where I'm on that. I'm not gonna go all in that. The thing is I think everybody who has dealt with addiction in any form, or even in domestic violence, enabling abuse, you know, it's knowing that you have boundaries, okay, and not moving those boundaries. It's the same thing as saying to myself and getting upset because I'm not going and gathering every person off the street and letting them sleep in my living room. Why is that? Because I understand that I need private space as well as other people, and I'm going to fight for all of us to have it. But I can't let my boundary and keep having my boundaries pushed to where I feel like now I'm enabling a situation of people who are using my pad to just, and I've lost autonomy. I've now lost control of the situation. We each have control over our lives and we get to choose. So I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't think about it. I I don't think about it. If I have something to give, and whether that be love, compassion, kindness, clean needles, whatever, water, I'll give it. And I won't, other than its impact on the environment and stuff, I won't think twice about it as long as I can give it. But there are boundaries to what I can give. And I know I can't give up my safe place because I've been there. And under a tent under a bridge sucks. Just gonna throw that out there. But it's, I think that's the thing. Know what you need and don't give more than, don't take away from what you need. And if that's in love, okay. If you've only got so much time, okay. But don't beat yourself up over it. Like, whatever. Anybody got any questions or anything? Because I just wanted to say, if you possibly could, reach out to these people. They're amazing. I have put on my Amazon wish list um, some more supplies. I put on there the fentanyl testing strips because I think that is, this is a wide ranging population. And I was doing some research last night, and over 30 million Americans 30 million people in the United States are addicted to substances, illicit substances. There are only 554,000 homeless people recorded right now in the United States. So I think this is a people problem. I think that this is a crisis. And I think that in the end, even even like my son keeps using alcohol, refuses to stop. Still gonna love him. Am I gonna jump when he says jump? No. Can I provide him, you know, anything other than love and support and being able to tell him that he matters? No. And I think that's the thing, is not withdrawing, remembering to not withdraw love, but you don't have to support the person and financially, or you don't have to give more emotionally than you can either. Yeah, Karen, you're right. Everyone deserves a safe area. They were talking about San Francisco today on YouTube. Is that where your views on that? I don't know what they'd be talking. I don't know. San Francisco gets a lot of play. I really don't know exactly what they were talking about there. As far as that goes, I do know that, and I will give you guys a little shout out, because I always say I'm like, oh, I'll do a late vlog later on tonight. And I'm going to tell you that most of the time, the probability of that is a big fat zero. I'm bad about it, really, really bad about that. But what I wanted to say is that there will be a little bit of traveling this summer. And so I am going to do a Where is Manda little series. And in that, I am going to give you hints about where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing by stats and data. And that's going to be on displacement. And I thought that'd be kind of fun and interesting and learning and educational. So, anyway, be prepared for that. That'll be coming up. And I appreciate all of you. And thank you for just listening about this subject. Like, I don't know what I was prepared for today, but man, I just wasn't, so many thoughts and emotions. And I really wasn't prepared to see it in action. Like, bam, there it is. Wow, data didn't lie. They weren't playing around. That works. Holy crap. So I figured I'd share it with y'all. I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful day. If you look up in the descriptions, there's a way to support me in my mission. There's a PayPal, there's an Amazon wish list. And if you can, go to Hope Crew Outreach and check them out. All right. And I will talk to you all later. The sharpsing is a public hygiene issue. It really is. It really is. So, and we just have to be in all of this. What we need to be is pragmatic. We can't, when we go to address how to solve problems, we can't look at a problem and say, well, it shouldn't exist. Yeah, but it does. How are we going to solve it? Well, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, but it is. Well, then they just shouldn't be doing it. Right? Oh, all right. So we got to address things from a realistic point of view and not from a, I guess, morality point of view. And that's why I loved it so much. Love them as they are. Hand them an apple, whatever. Do what you got to do, but love people as they are. So, anyway, and thank you all for loving me and sending so much love out and so much positivity. Sorry about the scratchy throat. Allergies are like kicking right now. But it was a beautiful day. It was a good day. And I left with the knowledge that we saved lives, like truly, truly saved lives today. That's a great feeling. So, anyway, I will talk to you all later. Bye.